Hey guys, today is all about this easy DIY harem jumper. Yes, I made this and you're gonna make it too, so stay tuned.
As we proceed to give you what you need.
Starting with a clean workspace, fabric, lots of fabric, a sewing machine, thread that matches the fabric, straight pins, and scissors. You are going to also need a really loose fitting sundress. Alright, let's get started. I'm going to start by having my fabric on my workspace. My fabric is folded over, so it's doubled. Now I'm going to be laying out my really loose fitting sundress onto the fabric. Once I get everything all situated with the dress, I'm going to take my measuring tape and I am going to measure out 1 inch all the way around the dress. Okay, when I get up to the bust line area, I'm still going to measure 1 inch away from the dress, but I'm not going to measure 1 inch away from the straps. I'm actually not going to measure out straps at all. We'll get to that later. With my pattern completely drawn out, I'm going to simply follow each one of those dotted lines and I am going to cut out my beginning part of my jumper. Now I noticed that my bust area was a little bit too high, so I went in and I'm cutting it down to make it fall a little bit lower. As you can see, my fabric is the same on the front and back, so I am going to have a little bit more ease working with my fabric. If your fabric is not, please work accordingly. Now I am starting with the bust line. I am going to pin down the edges. Now, as far as the part that curves right in the area of the cleavage, I am going to put in notches. This is going to help me fold the fabric over so that I can sew it and it will keep that curved structure. You'll notice that I'm only pinning one layer of the dress down, and then I will go back and pin the other layer down. These things are going to be sewn separately. You do not want to sew them together. With everything pinned and in place, I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine and I'm going to do a straight edge stitching right on the part that I folded over. Alright, doesn't look bad. Now it's time to create these straps. I'm going to be taking the edge of the fabric that I already had and I am going to use that because it's already got a very strong structure in it from having the edges already folded over and sewn down. So I'm just going to work off of that. I cut maybe 3/4 inch away from the edges and I'm going to simply fold it over once. I am adding witch stitch, which is totally an option. You do not have to have this. You can simply just fold it over and iron it down. I just like to have it so that way I know that the fold is permanent and it's one less thing I have to worry about. But you definitely do not have to have this for this portion of this tutorial. If you do decide to use it, I suggest that you work in small sections. This is such a long piece of fabric, you definitely don't want to get overwhelmed trying to get it all done in one big piece of witch stitch. Okay, so now that I have that done, you'll see that everything folds over and it matches up perfectly. I'm simply going to pin that on the outer part of the top of the jumper, and now I'm going to measure to make sure that it's falling how I want it to fall on my body. With both sides measuring evenly, I'm going to go ahead and pin the other side of the garment, and then I'm going to also pin the bust line area. Here is how it's going to look when it's all pinned into place. As you can see, I have the fabric pinned into the bust line as well as the outer sides of this garment. Okay, with everything sewn down, it's time to attach the back half of my jumper. I'm going to simply open up the straps that I made and I'm going to pin the fabric into those straps. I will then sew those on as well. Now it's time to get the shape of my jumper together. I'm going to be measuring from the top of my shoulder all the way down to the length of my arm. And I'm going to give myself maybe like an inch or two to work with here. Having a little bit more space when measuring this out will assure for any body curvage, so it's not a bad idea to add a couple of inches. So I'm going to take the measuring tape and I'm going to start at the top of the strap and I'm going to measure down the same amount that I just measured from my top of my shoulder to the ends of my fingertips. Now with harem pants, you're definitely going to want to pin around that area because harem pants are the most baggy and wide right around the hip and thigh area. Next, I am going to go in and pin inwards probably about an inch. Remember, I took the dress and I measured out an inch. So I would definitely want to assure that I am going to have a nice fit at the top of my jumper. I wanted to bring that in an inch. Next, I'm taking an old pair of harem pants. This is going to help me really get that arched shape in the leg part and also help me with the tapered look that I'm looking for. My vision when I sat down to make this garment, I really wanted it to be tapered on the legs and baggy at the thigh, a little above the knee area and around the bottom area, and just kind of fit from my bust down to those areas, kind of baggy and loose. So these pants are going to help me create that and assure that I'm doing it right. With everything measured out and in place, I'm going to simply cut out the excess material and I'm going to do a straight stitch all the way around and sew it together. Here are some things that I learned while making this garment without a pattern. I had to go in and resize the leg area numerous amount of times, so don't feel discouraged. Keep trying it on. Make sure that it fits perfect for you. My last step is to take the ends of the pants and simply do a cup. I use a straight stitch on this as well. And here are the final results. How amazing, right? You guys, I cannot get over how wonderful this fit, how wildly unique this is. So definitely try it. So if you do try it, definitely add me on all of my social media and or use hashtag MATVsDIY because I want to see. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. As always, it's time to subscribe if you haven't done that yet. I'd love to have you here on my channel. I do hair, fashion, makeup, and DIY. I also have another channel with my family, and we do family vlogging that uploads on Fridays, and we have a series called Small Talks that we upload on most Wednesdays. So head over to MariaAntoinetteTV and check us out. You can also catch me over at www.themariaantoinette.com. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. See you soon. Bye.